Buitigoyon, buenas noches. Good evening. Sorry for the lateness. Ferul do hamani o madago logo. Nacho taro lido yano le. Pero vamos começar. We're gonna start. I got the video ready. Greetings, Joseph J. King. Tia Xiomara, hermana Miriam, Buitigoyon. What's going on, Joseph? Tomás, viva el presidente de la Buga. What's good, Thomas? Long time no see. Joel, saludos. Nelson, what's going on, cuz? A lot of things going on in the community. Tonight, we're going to dissect this video that Celso Guillen, he did a testimony last week. El hermano Celso hizo una testimonía de lo que está pasando en Honduras ahorita. Muy importante. This is a very important conversation that we should have. And I'm going to bring Ruben Reyes into the conversation. So that we could discuss this video by Celso Guillen and what does it mean? What exactly does the video mean? ¿Qué quiere decir este video que hizo Celso Guillen en los nombres, la gente que él mencionó? Brother Guillen in Guadalupe mentioned a couple of names, and we're going to get into the meat of what those names mean and what it means to the entire community. What's up, Edson? Deira Castillo, saludos. Walumugu, este cato, idue. So, vamos a hablar hoy sobre el testimonio de Celso Guillen, Brittany Martinez, los nombres, los hechos y los datos que pasaron en Guadalupe. If this doesn't make you care about what's going on in the community, I don't know what would. Si esto no le importa a la gente después de esta conversación, lo que está pasando en nuestra comunidad en Honduras, yo no sé qué va a hacer, porque don Celso Guillen dijo unos nombres, unas personas, hay Garifuna ahí, y esos nombres, y es importante que tengamos esta conversación. So, démosles unos minutos a don Ruben Reyes para que él se agregue a la conversación. Bernard Núñez, saludos. Mabruiga, Buitigoyon. Hey, Desiree. Hope everything is well. Tell Mama I said what's up. Happy New Year. We're having a discussion today of what's going on in Honduras in Garifuna Community. And a testimony made by a gentleman that's in the fight to preserve our land. Saludos, Ana Castillo. Buitiguyo. Saludos familia, buenas noches. Perdón que perdí el evento ayer. Santos Uiti, buenas noches. Gifiti François, buenas noches. Déjame compartir esta conversación en Mabruiga, Garinagu. La computadora está un poquito lenta ahorita. Okay, ya vamos. We're about to get there. Alright, so let me play the first part of the interview with Mr. Celso Guillen, defender of Garifuna territories, in this particular case, Guadalupe, in the Santa Fe municipality.
Garifuna, quien es también activista, defensor de los territorios Garifuna del área de Santa Fe, Funda, Guadalupe, en el departamento de Colón, Honduras. ¿Quiere repetir, iglesia, hermano, de su nombre?
Celso Alberto Guillen Mejía, de Guadalupe, municipio de Santa Fe, departamento de Colón. El día 28 de noviembre del presente año fui agredido de muerte, casi de muerte, por el señor Leuterio Arriola.
So, el 27 de noviembre había un atentado a la vida de él por Leuterio Arriola Fernández. Yo no sé si ustedes lo pueden escuchar bien, pero voy a poner el enlace para ver el video aquí en la charla para que ustedes lo puedan ver. So this man, there was an attempt on his life on the 28th of November, I believe he said, by a person called Leuterio Arriola Fernández.
Por la defensa defensa que hemos hecho juntamente con la comunidad. Juró matarme y matar a otros compañeros de manera de decepcionar a la mayor parte de los labriegos. El señor Arriola es un señor de la misma comunidad de Guadalupe, un señor vicioso, marihuanero y amigo de un ex juez de nombre Carlos Emenelio Reyes.
So I gotta stop it there. We gotta take notes. What we gotta do as Garifuna people, we gotta take notes. This Carlos Emenelio Reyes, who is he? Don Celso say he's a judge. He's a judge in that region where he's at. All right, so I'm gonna try to bring Brother Ruben Reyes on. And I don't see an option to bring him on. It's important to bring him on because he took the video, but I don't get an option to bring him on. Let's see here. Okay. Trying to connect to Ruben Reyes now, the person that took this video. Buitiguño Ibiri.
Buitiguño Ibiri, Pablo Blanco, Mama Nikunda, Wadura Guguño Tolida, Lego Bole, the Biagi.
Who would they get? Gumese Nali, Hani Yanu Luma Celso, Idalali Hiri Biamamutu, Lauterio Ariola Fernández y el juez Juan Emelino López.
Ajá.
Otto Wagumesa yan.
Okay, Biri. Sunle la Gumesa ora le dia.
Aye.
Okay.
Either Lali Don Celso Iri Biamamutu. I just want to add some context to this conversation in the land struggle that we have in Honduras. I'm just amazed of this testimony, and I had to bring you in so you could give us some context of why you did it, why you thought it was important for other persons to see the testimony, which is great because we have it live on video. I mean, this could be taken to court. We could use this as evidence in a place in a courthouse. So I was just wondering what made you do this testimony and broadcast it.
Well, first of all, as you know, I have been an activist for the longest since I was a child, right? So at the same time, I really hate injustice, especially when it comes to our community. And they nearly killed our brother, Celso Guillen. And so I had to go and look for the gentleman in order for me to take. I asked him if there is some video somewhere where he has given his testimony, and he said no. So that's what really prompted me to take his version of the story, because we had only seen the images of his head, you know, after they cut it with a machete. But we did not have anything verbal by him. So I decided to go ahead and extract it from him in order to be able to make it available to our people and also to the government, to the international community, so they can see what kind of atrocities are continuously being made against our people, especially with regards to the land. So, and I also feel that as a responsible, as a member of Garifuna Nation that I am, as you are, every Garifuna, we are all members of the Garifuna Nation, and we are all responsible to denounce any atrocity committed against the Garifuna people. So I took my responsibility as the president of this organization, of this movement, to be able to make sure that we put it out there for people to see. We know that there are organizations in the ground working. One of them is Ofrane. Ofrane is strongly supporting the effort of the brothers and sisters in that region in Honduras. And they're also denouncing this kind of happening. They did their job to be able to denounce it. But you know what? Visual makes a big difference when it's coming from the mouth of the lion.
Yeah, that makes a difference. And I'm looking at Mr. Celso's face here. I mean, he looks, you know, a little bit shook up. Like he looks like a calm man. I'm assuming he's in his 60s.
Oh, I have to re-edit. I
Or
was
he's
forced to
50.
re-edit a portion of this video because he literally cried, especially when he was
I can see that.
referring to the point that he had to grab his arm and hold on to the arm because he had the machete on his arm, and at the same time, this guy, you know, went ahead
Right.
and bit his ear, you know, grab onto his ear, bit his ear, actually took a chunk of
Yes,
his
that's
ear. And I wasn't able to put that image there because it's gross. When you see the white portion
right,
of the
right.
ear of someone, I decided to just leave it out. But this man was shaken, you know, he was crying when he gave me that testimony. I kind of decided to leave it out because I just wanted the real message to go out, how it happened, what happened, and when. So that's why that's what we left in there. But the brother was definitely scared, and he does not want to go back there because, as he said in the video, and I'm saying this in English because we already have the version in Spanish, as you have suggested, right, to do this in English, so people hopefully even
Right.
you can rerun the video for people to see what we are talking about. But he does not want to go back to Funda, to Margurugu, to San Antonio, where he's from, and where all this happened, because the son of the perpetrator is now running free with a gun, and he is afraid that he may encounter him in his workplace, you know, and kill him because the father tried to do it. Now the son is there free running around with a gun, and the authorities are nowhere to be found. So this is a gentleman, this is a brother that really needs our help. And the more we disseminate the information, and also we should take extra, additional actions, you know, to the international authorities to see what can be done. Because locally, Ofrane has done everything possible to denounce atrocities to the government, also sue the government to be able to do something about it, and nothing gets done by the government as far as the justice, you know, to reach out to every corner of the country. So it is relying on us now to be able to do something, Brother Pablo. And I wanted to thank you for allowing me to share this information in your medium.
Well, here's the thing. Like, we have to tell our own story. That's one of the reasons that I started this Mabruiga Garinagu Facebook live series, because I feel like as a community, we don't have a network in which we could disseminate our own information. And that's the whole point of Mabruiga Garinagu. I mean, from Masca to Sangrelaya, every patronato and Garifuna person should be informed of what's going on in the community. It just seems to me as like persons in the community could care less or don't have like a vehicle to get informed. But they can't be caring about the community if they're not informed. So it's like a double-edged sword. I mean, this is a platform for
I
them to
think
get
you're on
in.
the right track, Brother Pablo. Your concern is in the right track, and I support it. That's the reason why I'm here today, because you invited me, and I'll do anything possible to continue sharing. I want to make it public also that when I saw you bringing up the details, I mean the case of Brother Guillen, I is when I expedited the process of putting it out there because he already initiated the talks, and I said now he needs some evidence, he needs some visuals. So thanks to you for being concerned and bringing cases of importance to our people and to the world. I really applaud what you're doing by having Mabruiga Garinagu available to the world.
Yeah, this is very important. I mean, it's something, we're at a point in our history as a community of losing everything for what it looks like. Because as I'm listening to this testimony, I've been listening to it since it was published, and there's Garifuna people involved in what happened to Celso in regards to the selling of lands of the court of the judges that the Canadian persons that are there, they built cabañas. I think those are the translation for
Yeah,
that is cabins in the land where Mr. Celso was in.
actually, this is becoming, when you say that there is a hand of our people in this, it's becoming like when the transatlantic slave era, you know, they say that the African were the ones selling their people to the Europeans. But you know what? Africans never created a market of slave people in the Americas, you know. So you know where you know who really were perpetrating slavery was not the black people. Same thing is happening now in Honduras. It's not the Garifuna people who are the mastermind of what's going on there. It's the government and the foreign investors that have no respect to the rightfully to the right of land ownership of the Garifuna people. They have no respect whatsoever to the Constitution that also prohibit land ownership from foreign people near the oceans or rivers and borders of the country. So there's a total violation, and the local governments are in complicity with that. So our people are just being manipulated. They just instrument to the wills of the foreigners and the government.
So do you see that stopping? Because in the video, Loterio Fernandez Ariola, he was offered money by the Canadians
The only way this
for a
can
piece of
stop,
land.
Brother Blanco, is that we as Garinagu people take the right step in order to be able to approach the right organizations, institutions, or government about what's going on locally in our communities. The local government is violating the law because the national government do not have respect for the laws. Therefore, who do we go to locally or nationally in Honduras? Nowhere. In the meantime, how do we approach the international community if we are just working as individuals? So it all comes to the point that we need to organize ourselves, put our act together as a Garifuna government, because we have the right to form our government, to be autonomous in the way we run the affairs in our communities. As you notice, the local government called municipalities or the mayor, they don't belong to the people. They were not elected by the people because the people, the community have communal titles on their land. So what happened when the community, when the municipalities comes in, they automatically start charging you taxes for the land that belongs to you. They don't have a right to do anything, and they don't do anything in our community, but they do collect taxes. And what are the taxes for? The road in that particular community of San Antonio is dirt road. There is no paved road there. There is no sewage system there. There's nothing there. The electricity and running water that is there was installed by the people. The people were the one who submitted requests to the government, and the government act told them they were going to provide the material, but the people will have to provide the labor. And that's what happened in the 80s. That's why that particular community have electricity and running water. Nothing done by the government there, and it was not done by the local government, which is called municipalities. Therefore, it's useless and are doing nothing there. To the contrary, what they are doing is trying to get us out of there. And they put Garifuna faces in the government so we can say, oh, we have one that looks like us, right? That's a total lie, and that's a way of getting rid of the Garifuna community power. I think the power have to go back to the Garifuna community and get rid of those local government settlements that are in our communities. Then we will be able to stop what's coming, because a lot more is coming. The settlement of these foreign investors there, which is what's the name of this? Randy Jorgensen and Patrick Daniels. You know, these are just the faces. There's a lot of Canadians that have put their money investing in those properties that have been installed there. You know, so now Jorgensen is just the face. Why deal with just him? We have to go to the Canadian government to let them know what their people are doing in our communities. We have to let them know that we will no longer tolerate what their citizens are doing in our community, but we have to organize ourselves a little bit more, consolidate every Garifuna patronatos, like you said earlier, you know, and then form our own federation so we can be strong. And the initiative of Garifuna Nation is exactly to do that, but it takes the people to get it done. We need each other. We need everybody. We all need to be on board in order for that to happen. And it's not something impossible, because we have educated, we have communicated to the people about Garifuna Nation, and they all are embracing it, and they like the concept. Now it's up to us, the people, to come together and complete the process.
To your knowledge, is there a lawsuit against Patrick Daniel or Randy Jorgensen by the Garifuna community at Canada?
I don't know about what's going on in Canada, but I know that the Garifuna community is totally against the constructions. They're totally against the land grab that they're doing in the communities. The Garifuna community are totally against it, and that's what counts at this moment, because we are part of the community. At least our community knows that they are being affected, and there will be no remuneration for them, you know, in the investment that's going on there by the community, by the Canadians.
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned the mayor's name of Santa Fe. I'm assuming Santa Fe oversees San Antonio and Guadalupe from the administration standpoint. And that particular mayor of Santa Fe, he already sold plots of land to the Canadians, as per this video.
Yes, this is not a new thing. This is happening since I will recall the 80s, and the particular case of El Triunfo de la Cruz. You know, it's funny how this all started. You see the church coming in. This is something that a lot of people don't like to be mentioned, you know, but the church have a lot to do in this. Before the different denominations come and invaded our communities, we were united, and nobody could set foot in there because we knew what to do at any given time. But afterwards, the municipalities started to come into our villages. They started to come into our villages and became aggressive. And then they declare, you know, our communities theirs. And then they started to do they started to promote the beaches of Honduras, which is exactly where we are located. At that point, the money started coming in with these foreign investors, and they started to do bad deals under the table with our people. Our peoples have been divided by these different denominations, so a lot of them were willing to sell. But let's remember that these are illegal sales, because one of the laws of the community is that the Garifuna community belongs to the Garifuna community and it cannot be alienated. In other words, it cannot be sold to outsiders. You can only make sales within Garifuna people. So anybody that comes from outside to buy has to be through illegal sales. And those are the sales that they are referring to that was done by the mayor and also the judge, and is supported by the president of that time, which was Porfirio Lobo Sosa. It's said by this gentleman, by Celso Guillen, that he said, I support the foreign investments because I am the ruler of this country. In other words, the Constitution was nothing. And the land ownership of the Garifuna people was nothing to the government. That's what's represented in this video.
So that puts us at a very interesting place in Honduras. Through the travel industry and the hotel industry, our land are prime targets for it. I mean, what's bothersome is that the people that do sell, they're not getting market rates for the land. That's problem number one. And problem number two is after they get the cash, I mean, the transfer rate is 20-1 in Honduras. That money goes by very fast. Because I know persons that have sold, they went to La Ceiba or to the city, and they ended up going back to the community with nothing. So what's the sense
in selling? I've seen a lot, brother.
It just makes no sense.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened in the Triunfo de la Cruz. I keep mentioning El Triunfo de la Cruz because that's one of the communities that initiated the land fight against the government and the foreign investment in Honduras, to the point that we won a case against the state of Honduras in 2015. There is a case that we won, two cases actually, including the case of Dubugati Punta Piedra. So, because there was so many things that happened in the community, and they fabricated a lot of fake documents, and then to be able to buy land, and then started investing or developing lands in our community. That's exactly what Brother Guillen denounced about Santa Fe and San Antonio, because he said documentos leoninos. These are the fake documents that took place long ago. They find the documents and they fill them in, and then they show you that they were original owners or they are rightful owners, and then they produce the sales. But those are all fake documents because nothing goes on top of the communal land, because they have the title. They have the title. The community have the title for the entire land within the Garifuna community, of the Garifuna community. Therefore, it cannot be alienated. You cannot sell a piece here and give a title to somebody. You cannot grab another piece and give another title to another person or organization or entities. It has to remain as one title. The entire community is one title. But if you go there now, you can see a lot of titles within the Garifuna land title. How can they explain that? So therefore, we do have something we can fight, because the community have the land title. They have the title in their hands. But you know what? In Honduras, worth nothing. They just want the community out of it, out of the land, because they finally realize that those are the beautiful land of the country, and they want to put them up for grab to international investors. So
what is it going to take for us as a community to get justice? I know we went to the Inter-American Court of Justice. for those two cases, Punta Piedra and Triunfo de la Cruz, I mean, the government of Honduras doesn't even acknowledge us as a community. I'm not sure if that's in the Constitution or not, but I don't remember seeing it there when I went through the Constitution. It just said pueblos indígenas. It didn't specifically say Garifuna.
Yes, what we do now.
So, I mean, there has to be a higher court than the Inter-American Court of Justice.
Yes, we can keep winning cases in court, but if we don't become proactive and just become reactive, then we're just going to be defending ourselves all the time. We have to be proactive. We have to define our future. We have to set our government. We have the right by the ILO 169, the Convention 169 of ILO. We also have the right to do so by the declarations, you know, of the United Nations about the right of indigenous people. We are considered indigenous people. We are indigenous people. We were in Honduras before the state. And then when you are a community with your own culture, your own language, living in a country, and then the country becomes independent, it becomes a state, then you are indigenous to that area because you are one community. And we were also indigenous prior to arriving to Central America in 1797. We were already in a community of indigenous people, a nation of people, because we were born in St. Vincent and we fought the island, the right to the island of St. Vincent until 1795 up to 1797 when we were put into exile. But take a note that that was the last island to be conquered in the entire Caribbean area. St. Vincent was the last island to be taken by the Europeans because of the Garifuna resistance, because of the resistance of the Garifuna nation. And they kicked us out of there before they were able to take the island completely. Now we are almost facing the same thing, but we need to unite. We need to take proactive approach to be able to define our destiny. We cannot leave it to default. Can't leave it up to default.
I've spoken to several persons in the community about the history, and we did have a central government in the past. It's called Idu Gariwa. You could correct me in the pronunciation, but we had a central government in which we had autonomy from the nation state government of Honduras.
Brother,
why did you think that?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, my brother. What's your question?
Yeah. I was just wondering. We had a central government in the past. Why did that stop?
I don't know, but what I know is that there have been some process. As I started to say earlier, the change of belief of Garifuna people from spirituality into religion, where one of the mandates of the religion is that you don't have to fight the land. You know, you have to leave that up to God. Then that really weakened our community. But we have been autonomous from day one, and we are still autonomous till now. 221 years in Honduras, we have been, and we are autonomous. We are an autonomous community. We have not been recognized as autonomous by the state, but all our actions as community are of those that are autonomous people. Everything that is in our community today is developed by us. Nothing was there by the government. Nothing is there by the government. The only thing that the government helped put is to pay for the teachers in the schools. But we built the school building. We built the churches. We built the community centers. We did everything that is in our community. We put the electric system. We put the water, running water. You know, the medical center that is in our community was built by us. The government provided the material, and he paid for the nurse. So, you know, we co-partner with the government. in those things that are his full responsibility. In other words, we are running our business. We are running the administration of our communities, but we are not doing it in an organized way, in a way a real government of indigenous people should do it. Therefore, we need to be able to be abided by an indigenous constitution. We have to be abided by rules of the Garifuna based on ancestral use, ancestral ways, you know, and the government does not have not embraced, you know, these international declarations. They ratified them, but they did not embrace them. They didn't include them in the Constitution. So we will be able to be heard. So we can be they can respect what they signed at the United Nations, you know, which is to respect the rights of indigenous people. Honduras in particular have not embraced that, and they do not recognize the right of their people. They're only killing people sometimes when they go and fight for their rights, for the right to the rivers, for the right to the land. You know, the recent case of Berta Cáceres, you know, they killed her because they were pronouncing against the installation of dams in their territories, because that was devastation. That would cause devastation for their territories. And you can go on and on. So again, the answer to your question is that we have to take the lead. We have to be proactive. We have to form our government, because the government of the state does not allow anything that concerns our future or our present.
We are in 22 states in America. We are in 78 communities in Central America.
And Yurume,
in St.
Central
Vincent,
America and
Yurume,
70s.
Yes, I was gonna say Yurume. We are in 6 different communities in Yurume. How do we get this fight to these persons in all these different geographic areas? Do we create a constitution first and then send it to them? Like, what organizational body is gonna be doing that work? Would it be Garifuna Nation? Would it be Ofrane?
Well,
or is it something that we could work in tandem with those both
Ofrane has been in
organizations?
existence since the 70s, about 78 or 79. NGC has been in existence longer than that in Belize. Ofrane is in Honduras, NGC in Belize, and then we have Onegua in Guatemala and Aganic in Nicaragua. Plus, we are in the United States. It hasn't happened. So how long are we going to wait for it to happen when this organization has been in place for over 30, 40 years? Garifuna Nation have already worked on a constitution. We do have a draft of constitution for our people based in international declarations and also the ancestral ways of the Garifuna people. The conjunction of those two things is what make up the Garifuna constitution. But it needs to be socialized. It needs to be approved by the people. It needs to be consensuated by the people. That's why I said earlier that we need to come together as people to be able to form our government. Our organization has already done a lot of the legwork, but we all need to know that this organization belongs to us, that we all are a nation. Therefore, we have to approach all these matters that are happening in our community as a nation. Then we'll finally be respected, because there is no way to ignore the voice of a nation when you're approaching a government.
That is correct, and I agree. That's a lot of work. I'm just thinking about it. 48 communities to come as one. I mean, getting the message from one community to the other, that's our biggest task.
It's not as difficult as it may sound, because we are one already. The people in St. Vincent, the Garifuna people in St. Vincent, they know that they are one people. You know, out of 43 Garifuna communities in Honduras, we know we are one people. 6 Garifuna communities in Belize, they are one people. And then when we combine the countries, we are one nation across borders. We have not divided yet to that point where we will ignore the fact that we are one people. No, we are strong as a nation, but we need to define our path. That's where we need to work, to define our path, and then to start facing these issues, proactively, and then with sense, using the laws that are already existing in the countries to be able to let them know that we know about our laws. And also those declarations that they already signed in the conventions, and the Convention 169 that they already signed, and that's a law, that's an international law. They have to learn how to respect that. But we don't need to beg them. We have to request from them that they have to.
And we do that as a nation. We do that with everyone coming, actually marching to the central government of Honduras and demanding these rights. They could be another way as well.
I would like to hear about it. I would like to hear. I would like to hear if there is an alternative to that will provide solution. As of now, in all these years that I've been learning about our issues, and I've seen the action of our organizations, nothing else is left to us to do, because single organizations are not going to solve the community issues. They have not been able to do it, and there's nothing now to make them suddenly by magic be able to resolve for us.
So, this is I don't think persons in the community understand the severity of where we are as a community. I just don't. They don't know the gravity of it in regards to these.
I like to correct you on that one. The community of Tornabé, the Patronato of Triunfo de la Cruz, the Patronato of Limón, the Patronato of San Antonio, the Patronato of Santa Fe, of Aguán, those patronatos in Colón, and gracias a Dios, they know and they have hope. The only thing that is happening is that we are not taking the necessary steps to do what we need to do. And to make it clear, we in the United States are not at the extent to think like the people in the communities, because they are the ones fighting the issues every day. They are the one exposed to poverty every day. And those are the ones that fleeing the country to the United States because of the threats that they receive for defending their rights, for fighting for their land. In the meantime, we are so comfortable here, thinking whether should we do something or not, or what should we do, because we don't really know. I'm talking about in general. So when I say, we have held several community meetings there, in Honduras, and I already got it from them that they need a nation. They need us to come together and lead them, and they will participate. So it's just a matter of taking the lead now, brother. It's just a matter of participating as one, because that's who we are. We're still counting one and counted as one.
What is the timeline for that? Is there a particular timeline that you would like to see that happen?
I would like to see it happen within at least 2 years. We can have a working nation, because we don't need to start from scratch. We don't need to start from scratch. Scratch. All we have to do is bring our people together and present them with the proper documents that they have to ratify. They have to consensuate. They have to correct and say, this is what we approve. Once they approve them, they will implement them at the local grassroots level. And then with our support, we can work as a strong body. That's the key. Ofranet needs us. They're probably not requesting us, but they need us. You can see in what's going on in the communities that gives you the answer that we are needed. That we as Garinagu people, as organized community, as an organized government are needed. So I say,
yeah, I see a lot of disturbing things.
you're learning about it.
I see a lot of disturbing things.
If you're coming to learn about it, brother, welcome. But this is an ongoing thing that has been there for decades. Let me tell you this. Ofrane attempted to resolve by forming a federation called Organización Fraternal Negra de Honduras in the 70s, or late 70s. And they had a local branch in every Garifuna village. Every Garifuna village had a local branch of Ofrane, and we will come together and go to a general assembly to be able to elect leaders. And that's how the organization was led. Now, we don't have that kind of power anymore because I don't know. I'm not going to be able to talk about it because I don't know what is the current bylaws say about that particular organization. But what I know is that they're fighting for our land, but they are not fighting enough for the loss of language. The Garifuna language is being lost at every community. You just mentioned one community, and I have evidence that the language is being lost right there. Our economy is on the ground. We had better economy in the 70s and the 80s than what we have now. Even though we have more doctors, we have more attorneys, we have a lot of professionals, but our economy relies primarily on the remittances. Before, our economy relied on what we can produce from our land and put in the market. We had independency then. Now we have a kind of dependency because of the lack of orientation, the lack of coming together as professionals, as people that know. You know, those people who did not know how to read and write put their faith in their children and send them to school. 20, 30, 40 years later, those children have not bring back what they were hoping for. So hopefully, maybe now we can do it. Maybe now we can be the answer to the hope of those parents for that generation that didn't know how to read and write, but they knew the potential of education.
I understand, and I think you're right, and when you say that the religion plays a role, because religion will make you so complacent in so many ways. I mean, I always hear people that are very religious, if they have a problem, oh, dejémoslo a Dios. Or they'll say something like, Dios lo va a resolver. I mean, we're living beings. I mean, this concept of God, we have to re-look and reanalyze this concept of God that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, to my knowledge, we revered our ancestors. We never revered God. Not necessarily. We always spoke with our ancestors when we wanted something. This new concept of God kind of just slashes. It just gets rid of our ancestors as a whole.
It demonizes our ancestors. It demonizes our ancestors. That's what it does, and that's against the law, right. You know, because there should be freedom of religion, freedom of spirituality. And these denominations, the first thing they say is that we are practicing Satanism. The Jehovah's Witnesses say it. The Garifuna Nation have written to their headquarters about it. We send them a letter that they should not be demonizing our belief. Otherwise, they can be sued in court in the United States, because that's a corporation registered in the United States. They should be respecting the Constitution of the country. They openly say in their writings, in their magazines, you know, that the Garifuna community practice Satanism.
And what's funny is that a lot of Garifuna people believe that.
That's funny, because when you start believing in indoctrination, you become indoctrinated, and then you start repeating what you heard. Despite the fact that before this denomination, we were united. We will work together. We will fight together. We will cry together. We will build our home together. I don't know if you relate to that. We will build our home together. The system, as a matter of fact, the process of building a Garifuna home was the owner will put the walls and the community will put the roof. The only thing that the owner has to do is bring porridge, atol, and provide to everybody, because everybody will be putting that roof together. That's the system of putting a home in the Garifuna community. That is gone. When someone passes away, the community will bring flour, rice, beans, sugar, because food will be made for those who are going to come and give company overnight. That's how it used to be. Now, God forbid you lose someone, you will have to pay out of your pocket for everybody that's going to come, because they got to eat and drink. Things have changed because people have lost their belief due to the indoctrination. They're showing you a God that divides people, because they're not really preaching what the Bible say. They're preaching what they want to be able to grab people to their denominations. And that is wrong. To utilize the Bible for evil doing, that's wrong. And sadly, our people are falling for it.
And the thing is that they can't, a God cannot be proven from a scientific
Well, that's
perspective.
another story.
Like, there's a lot of, from my observation, there's a lot of persons in the community that don't have formal education. So how could they believe?
Really?
How could they believe this concept of God if they haven't been through at least, I don't know, a high school or, a college education? But they're so fast to believe what somebody else from outside the community tells them.
It's sad that we have short memories. I always refer to the fact that before the denominations, this religion denomination, come to our community, we fought the British in Uruming. We didn't know how to read and write, but we knew, and it's in the history books, that our people knew they would get confused if they started to believing in different religion, in a religion that they knew nothing about. They rather stuck to their spirituality, where they know that they were united and they were doing things together as one people, as one nation. When we got to Central America, now we don't have that same power to be able to face our issues together and fight together. Because of that, some of us, are from different denominations, and we don't even talk to each other. We cannot even sit at the table and eat together because of separation. And I wonder if that's what the Bible is for. And now, when they're approaching our land, we cannot face it together, because some of us believe that that should be for God. God should deal with that. They're going to pay for it, or God's going to punish them, or whatever. No. God gave you land. They didn't set you on the ocean. They didn't set human being on the air. He set us in the ground. Therefore, we should always have ground that belongs to us, and we should always be able to defend the land. That's why we have it. Our ancestors knew that. They didn't know how to read and write, but they knew it. That's why they went ahead and fought for communal titles. And the government was able to grant those titles to people that didn't know how to read and write. Now, with so many professionals, we're losing the land. We're losing our language. We're losing our Garifuna ways, which is more important, that goes through the language. And eventually, we can lose our culture. But we need to be careful, and we need to take proactive actions.
That's dangerous. Losing the culture completely is dangerous. Losing the language, which runs on the rails of the culture, is another component as well, which was worrisome for me. But this goes into my next point. From my perspective, after I analyze what's going on, it seems like there's two classes of Garifuna people in Honduras. Here as well. We got the Garifuna person that speaks the language, that loves the culture, that dances when we hear the garan. That's pro Garifuna all the way through. Then we have another class of Garifuna person that through economics they have, created a good life for themselves, and they have means. They have somewhat of a resource. Now these are the Garifuna people that I see that are hurting the community, the ones that have the means or the resources. In Honduras, these are the people that are the nacionalistas, that are Garifuna. And I believe they're a cause of the division over there. While another group of Garifuna persons are the los liberales. The los liberales, they're more liberal in the way, that particular party are more liberal in the way that they approach government. I just don't think that either one of them benefit the Garifuna community at all. So we have the religion and the political parties that add more confusion to the community.
I agree with you 100%. Politics do not bring any solutions to our communities. And the same way religion does not, the politicians do not. They only bring division, and they contribute, to the detriment of our people. To this point, we have not had any representation at the government in Honduras. We have some Congress people that are Garifuna at the Congress in Honduras, but we don't have one representing the best interest of the Garifuna people because they were not put there by the people. They were put there by the parties. So therefore they go and serve the parties. So we don't have any hope on them. You can bring them an initiative, they don't know what to do with it because the party have to agree. And this is not the best interest of the party. Therefore, might as well just keep your initiative. That's the reason why we need to have a nation, because a nation will have some representation at the government of the country. And then what you say about the people that are academists, they have not contributed to the issues, to the resolution of the issues in the Garifuna communities. Therefore, I don't know if they're neutral or they have hindered the action of those people that are pro-Garifuna, but I do have my great respect to the people that play the drum and hear the drum and are called by the drum, because that's the main core of keeping our culture. I have great respect for those people, because the one that call and go dance at the patio, those are the people that will keep the culture going for now and for good. We have to keep the drums in our halls. We have to keep the drums in our meetings. We have to keep the drums. Same way we need to keep our flag, we have to keep our drums, because the drum is the core of the Garifuna culture, and it's what brings life to those individuals that are still fighting for the land and trying to preserve the language and the Garifuna unity today.
Yes, I totally agree. It just seems that the ones that do the dancing and show more fervor and respect for the culture are the ones that are fighting for the land as well. And the ones that don't dance are the ones that are selling the land, which is,
well, they are.
I just don't know what to think.
There are
It's
some
very
of those
disturbing.
people that are not academics also that have sold the land because they are easy prey to money. If they don't see anybody fighting for the community but them, and then somehow the government come and threaten them that they're gonna lose the land, they better sell it now before they lose it, which is what happened in Tornave. They'll go ahead and sell it, and that's what happened with Indura Resort. That vast land of the Garifuna people of Tornave was taken away by threats. by intimidation, by the government, by the state, and then handed over to private investors. That's why you see a big resort there called Indura Resort in Honduras. You know?
Now, this is when the people from Baravieja was evicted back in
No,
2014.
this
It
took,
has something
yeah,
to do with the
exactly. This
building.
is just another community that belongs in the same link of communities. You have Tornave, you have Miami, you have Baravieja. It's one whole long community, but the entire land was pronounced to be a recreation park to preserve the fauna and flora, and ended up in the hand of the investors, and they did a big old resort there. You can do your own research. That's what really happened there in the 80s. Now they wanted to evict the community of Barra Vieja in what 2014. That's what you're talking about. But these people have resisted. They didn't go, and they don't want to go. The police went there to try to kill them or something, and they stood up. They stood up. So they are still there.
Right.
It is really sad, my brother.
So Miami doesn't exist anymore? The community of
It's still
Miami
there.
doesn't exist anymore?
Miami still exists, and some Garifuna people
Okay.
still have ownership and land there, but a lot of it is not in their hands anymore.
Okay. Wow. I mean, there's so many dynamics to discussing our land issues. I mean, thank you for giving us your breadth of knowledge and for taking this remarkable video so the community could see what's actually going on. Do you have any closing words to my audience, to the
Yes,
community at large?
let's not forget that Ofrane is an expert in the land cases, Garifuna land issues in Honduras. They know it very well. They have put their life in line for the land of Garifuna people in Honduras. So it will be also good that they may come and show their expertise, answer some questions, because there's some things that I don't know that they do know. And again, I want to thank you for the opportunity, and I would like to invite our people to be able to start taking the necessary action towards their nationhood, because every indigenous community, every indigenous individual have the right to belong to his nation. That's one of the articles of the Declaration of the United Nations about the right of indigenous people. So we're not violating, we're not trying to be a nation state. I want to clarify that. But we are an indigenous nation, and we have to get our status as such. So, brother, hopefully we can have another one of this regarding how we can get our people together to complete the process of the status of our indigenous nation, so we can do the right thing for our people. Thank you. Seremeniabu.
Yes, I mean, I totally agree. We need to start organizing more, and we have to start. I think the conversation comes from America and it filters down to Central America and then eventually to Urume as well. I mean, we have to initiate the gears for that
We do,
conversation. And I look forward to being a part of that conversation and other persons that I feel here in the United States that are committed to the betterment and advancement and empowerment of our community. Because that's what I definitely want to see. I want to stop seeing a woman taking the trek in Mexico, dying in the process just to get over here. I mean, that's an issue. I've seen about 100 Garifuna women that came back in 2014 because of the threats and everything that was happening in the communities.
And
coming over here to the country and face the legal system here, which is the prison industrial complex, which is a whole different conversation.
Yeah, we should not be coming to the United States unless if we want to come and visit, or we choose to come and live here. But we do have enough land. We have territories, but we don't have tractors to develop those lands. And we're not going to go back and work with machete. Actually, that's one of the reasons why we went to school, to run away from the machete and the hoe and the axe. We didn't want to work with those, but if we get tractors, we can go back and develop the land and be productive of our own food, and might even be able to export or supply the local market in the country. But at the same time, going back to the Garifuna Nation, we within the organization, we do have people from Urume, we have people from Belize, we have directors from Guatemala and from Nicaragua and the United States, from Honduras as well. So we are connected with the communities where we are from. So we just came together to be able to do the right thing as a government, but we still need more capable people. So this is a call for you and for everybody else that is a Garifuna that is watching this interview to be able to request more information and make yourself available to be part of the movement of your nation. Garifuna Nation has been alive for over 300-400 years, and it is our responsibility to keep it alive, but it's time now to bring it to a legal status, you know, in the current days.
Can you say the last 60 seconds in regards to the call for Garifuna Nation in Spanish so that other people could understand?
Gracias, hermano.
And once we be involved.
Sí, o sea que no tenemos por qué venir de Honduras a arriesgarnos la vida a través de México. So, deberíamos venir a los Estados Unidos si deseamos venir a vivir o a pasear, porque tenemos territorios, tenemos suficientes terrenos en Centroamérica para vivir, para producir la tierra, para arar el terreno y generar una producción alimenticia sostenible. Pero no lo vamos a hacer con machetes, ni asadones, ni hachas. Tenemos que hacerlo con tractores, de una forma moderna, para que así de esa manera podamos autosostenernos y también poder vender en el mercado local. ¿Y por qué no exportar? ¿Verdad? Entonces, pero para eso necesitamos centralizar el sistema de gobierno garífuna. Somos una nación que existimos desde más de 400 años y nosotros hemos mantenido nuestro sistema autónomo a través de esos años y ahora que estamos en Honduras, en Centroamérica, pero necesitamos llevar nuestro sistema, el estatus de nación, a un estado legal. Tenemos que ser una nación indígena o tribal. No estamos buscando formar una nación estatal. Simplemente queremos que se nos respeten nuestros derechos, queremos administrar nuestras comunidades legalmente, ¿verdad? Ya que lo hacemos de forma extraoficial, porque los estados, los gobiernos, no hacen nada de desarrollo dentro de nuestras comunidades. Todo el desarrollo que existe en ellos hasta la fecha lo hemos puesto nosotros, pero necesitamos hacer este llamado a cada uno de los miembros de la nación garífuna. Todos los individuos garífuna son miembros de la nación y ahora estamos organizándonos. Tenemos personal de Belice, de Guatemala, de Honduras, de Nicaragua, de San Vicente en la organización que se llama hoy día Nación Garífuna, pero necesitamos de más capacidad y de personas para que nosotros terminemos de organizarnos y forjar el futuro y el destino del pueblo garífuna. Solamente de esa manera podemos manejar los problemas y estar a la proactividad, no solamente de reaccionarios. Tenemos que ser proactivos para lo que es el destino del pueblo garífuna. Solamente así vamos a poder garantizar que el pueblo tenga su idioma perenne para siempre, que podamos nosotros tener nuestros territorios intactos, porque cada día crecemos y necesitamos cada pulgada de territorio que tiene el pueblo garífuna. Y para terminar, no estamos violando ninguna ley nacional, al contrario, estamos dándole cumplimiento a lo que los estados han ratificado y han firmado ante las entidades internacionales, pero tomará de nosotros la acción para que tomemos por las riendas el destino de nuestra comunidad garífuna. Gracias, hermano Pablo.
Sereme ibiri, sereme logo hadani, lo ichuguni, ichugu logo yanule, wadume ba, now bahon, lume wasigini, adume yan,
Remini ge bon pubaro go meme bala wa dagman o le batiga be ay chiga de subuti hon wa du henyo logo kate le mege wa tile da wa geira frume warga da be mege ru wa mage mege tuage buma ge saragu wa hen lu wa daga ni lera daga abar ge waru waite ha Garinagu hage waru waite bani hage alumba ya wagabu nyo hawagu wa daga sonle wa daga be lumo yuti geti duwe wa muti ge hon da afa gwanya saragu lu yawa ma ugunye be boma gero gibiri seremenia bon buiti gunyo
Buiti gunyo